Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure meeting you too.
Yes, very excited. So you're going to kick off a session and I will be here. And if there's questions, I will certainly share them with you.
Sure. Let me share my screen. I think, okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So my name is Giorgio Guri, and I mean, from my background, I come with 25 plus years of experience in information technology and application in the banking sector. And I come from a development background, and really my first job as a programmer was the development of an object-oriented loan application program back in 1995. And I think, without going into various details, since there, I've worked across various process-driven related applications in banking. Something I wanted to highlight, I mean, working as a CIO of Intesa Sanpaolo Bank in Albania back in 2008, I started and led paperless banking initiatives with a focus to centralize payment processing using BPM technologies. Then after starting facilitations, we've been working for over 10 years into a number of projects that are related to customer servicing in banking, core banking platform implementation, as well as loan applications origination, recovery originations, and also payment processing and workflows into optimizing straight-through processing, but also level of authorization in the payment products. So I think I would like to keep the last 5 minutes for any questions that might be raised. So I will be going quickly on the first topic, which is what we've seen so far as the driving forces of change and innovation across the European markets. At the moment, we operate and serve banking customers in 7 different European countries. And what we have seen across our customer base is that there is a current external factors, especially COVID-19 pandemics was a very strong force that are pushing financial institutions to explore a number of pathways on their business. So we do also see, and especially that's true in the payment industry, but also in consumer lending, that the raising business volumes are also driving a need to optimize certain processes in order to be able to tackle the volumes in a more efficient way. It's been before, but there is always a demand for reduction of operating costs. So how efficiencies and productivity can reduce operating costs. Then, especially, I think, due to the COVID and the hybrid work model of working from office and from the home settings, the matter of operational efficiency has become more, has come more into the spotlight. I mean, really, it was a must and a business continuation to work from home, but it's going to stay, so operational efficiency remained very important. And then one important aspect is the digital growth versus the legacy growth in the retail sector. I think a number of banks have understood that the legacy growth can give you a proportional growth in business into number of customers, number of loan application processed, number of payments processed, but there is also a digital growth. And the digital growth factor is exponential. The competition to have digital growth are also coming from non-traditional financial industry players like technology giants like Amazon, Apple, and other giants that are entering into financial services, but there is also a competition between traditional players that have either established new digital banks and that are focused on digital servicing through the customers, or are rapidly moving towards innovation and being able to offer a full 360-degree customer service via digitally. Now, surely there are challenges, and when we're thinking of challenges, the greatest challenge still remain is a complex regulatory compliance environment. So surely local regulators you have to deal with, as well as global regulators. On some key areas here that are impacted from regulators is the electronic identification and trust services for electronic transaction. Then there is distant marketing of consumer financial services regulation. The property sector has its own guidances as to how properties are being registered and whether it can be digitally contracted and signed. There is, in Europe, we do have as a constant the GDPR regulations, and there are a lot of regulations that are related to the credit reporting. Another challenge that banks face is there are still a large majority of banks that run on monolithic core banking system and standalone applications that are hard and very time consuming to integrate. And we also see that though in terms of the retail sector or other private business sector, there is a number of APIs available that could bring efficiency into process design. When we are talking about accessing public or other necessary services, still there are difficulties. Either APIs lack or their access is not that easy to build and to even contract. Moving on, I think what we have seen as typical need coming from bank and consumer expectations, short time to market in order to quickly create a positive and sustain the positive impact is there. Everybody wants to see a result from a digital transformation strategy, and without seeing result, momentum is not created and sustained. There is a clear push to enhance the user experience and improve the internal efficiencies for loan origination and servicing to the end customer. There is a need to have end-to-end integrated workflows to really enhance customer experience. So it should start from the customer touch point of origination to the internal approval process and also to the final communication to the customer. And that's not only related to the first interaction of approving a loan, but also through the whole life cycle of servicing, how all the interaction happens with the customers. APIs, I mentioned before, are a very important aspect in order to build an efficient process. Predictive analytics are important to improve evaluation of credit worthiness, drive profitable loans, and lower the cost. We do also see, not that often, but it's very important to have robotic process automation to really faster the speed to market and enable transaction transparency and lower cost. And the back office digitalization is an area of importance in order to have more efficient operations. What we have seen as a long-term success factors, the first one is the single and the customer-centric digital process automation platform for all products and services. So whether you're talking about retail or commercial loans, collateralized or not, or payments, being able to have a unified digital with a very friendly and efficient UX, so have a single point is very important, not only for the customer, but even for the citizen developer and the operational teams and the customer servicing team in banks and financial institutions. Things need to be easy. The selection of the omni-channel platforms remains very important. The ensuring that process-driven certainty and transparency is very important aspect when you're thinking of a long-term transformation, and building loyalty with your customer base. The intelligent, scalable architectures that are easy to adapt and to process changes, offer easy and low-cost maintenance with decoupled architecture for rapid new product development is a very important and strategic choice for an IT platform that each financial institution do or plans. It's a really very strategic investment because it will have to support all the other aspects of the digital journey. The easiness and simplicity of the platform to implement changes is another important aspect. So, I mean, the whole point of a strategic choice is how you adapt a flexible and scalable platform that provides a decoupling of the technology and architecture. And I think the no-code technologies play a very important role. So it should be a strategic decision to choose a platform that offers the no-code capabilities. Going to some of our practices as an implementer and system integrator, we have seen that the payment processing is important in terms of being able to deal with new payment networks. So what we have seen across the last 2 years, that there are a number of new payment networks compared to traditional our low value payments or high value payments, typical networks in different markets and SWIFT, but there are a number of other players that banks and financial services institutions integrate. So surely there can be various and different entry points from where the payments are being received, and being able for different payment networks to maintain consistency through a very well-defined process, but also often offer flexibility in terms of how certain approvals for different payment networks for different type of transactions are being obtained, and also to provide efficiency for simple operations in a complete digital manner. So how preferential foreign exchange rates for cross-currency transactions is going to be improved is very important. So you need to have a unified framework, but at the same time, you need to be able to adapt a personalized workflow for different networks or different customers or different source of payments initiation channels that are coming in banks. One recent project that we're running with a customer of ours in the Creatio platform is the possibility to have an innovative workflow that provides an interaction between, I think, the consumers, retailers, and bank in order to instantly onboard the customer and approve the loans digitally. So you might see a traditional typical workflow of application, and 3 key important steps that are made are enabled from the no-code technology in an efficient aspect are the customer e-identifications, the document validations through government portal, and surely exchanging data with credit bureaus. But one important aspect in order to enable a digital experience to the end customers who can buy the service at the shop and have also the loan approval would be the contract e-signing. So the whole workflow, this is a case study that we're building, is very important. So the integration and the capability to integrate quickly via APIs, various players, and be able to define workflows and scoring systems that enable a quick approval process to provide a nearly digital experience to customers, not only when shopping online, but even when going to a shopping mall or at a retailer. It's a very, I would say, interesting offering, but it is also judged as a strategic differentiation strategy from our banking customer. And one last interesting business case coming from the corporate and SMEs collections that we have worked before is also the aspect of the hard recovery. So being able to integrate and being able to have a constant monitoring on hard recovery as to what's happening with the court, what's happened with the bailiff. Now, these regulations tend to change from one country to another, and I think it's very important to have a no-code and a very efficient platform that enables a model-driven development and a rapid application integration in order to adapt processes and build agility within the organization. So that is the last slide and the last 3 use cases I wanted to bring to you. I'm open for any questions that might have come from the audience.
So I'm very excited to see as you continue to develop those use cases out, leveraging APIs in certain spots that can add value rapidly, right, and open up information and data. At this time, I don't think we have any questions. So I think from here, we'll transition. But I want to thank you personally. I really enjoyed your presentation, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of some of those case studies.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
All right, sir.
Cheers.
Thank you.